She thought it would be funny. Just one date. One harmless joke with a man she never expected to see again. But before that night was over, a little boy looked up at him, smiled, and said two words that changed everything: Daddy. Sometimes, kindness enters our lives in the most unexpected ways. And sometimes, the person we think is only passing through becomes the person who teaches us what love really means. Before we begin, please subscribe to Kindness Legacy Tales, like this video, and leave a comment telling us where you're watching from. Your support helps us share more stories about kindness, hope, and the moments that change lives. Megan had stopped believing in fairy tales a long time ago. At 29, she was raising her 3-year-old son, Noah, by herself in a small apartment outside Columbus, Ohio. Her life was simple but exhausting. She worked during the day, rushed home to make dinner, helped Noah with his bath, read him the same bedtime story every night, and then sat alone on the couch after he fell asleep. Noah's father had left before his first birthday. There had been promises at first. Phone calls. Excuses. Then silence. Megan learned how to do everything alone. She also learned not to expect too much from people. One Friday evening, her best friend Sarah convinced her to try a dating app. "You need one night where you're not just Noah's mom," Sarah said. Megan laughed. "And who exactly would want to date me? I have a toddler, a full-time job, and about 4 hours of sleep." Sarah showed her a profile. His name was Daniel. He was 32, worked as a high school counselor, and had written something simple in his profile: "I believe small acts of kindness matter more than big promises." Megan rolled her eyes. "That sounds suspiciously perfect." Sarah laughed. "Then go on one date. If he's terrible, you can tell me all about it." Megan agreed, but only because she thought it would be funny. The next evening, Daniel met her at a small family restaurant. Megan arrived late, tired, and embarrassed. "I'm sorry," she said. "My babysitter canceled." "I understand," Daniel replied with a smile. "You made it here. That's what matters." He didn't complain. He didn't ask why she was late. He simply pulled out her chair. During dinner, Megan waited for the usual questions. "How old are you? What happened with Noah's father? Are you planning to have more children?" Instead, Daniel asked about her favorite music, the books she liked, and what made her laugh. For the first time in years, Megan felt like someone was interested in her, not just her responsibilities. Then her phone rang. It was the babysitter. There had been an emergency, and Megan needed to pick Noah up immediately. She stood up, embarrassed. "I'm really sorry. I have to go." Daniel reached for his wallet. "Let me walk you to your car." "You don't have to." "I know," he said. "I want to." That sentence stayed with her. When Megan arrived at the babysitter's house, Noah ran into her arms. Daniel stayed several steps away. Noah looked at him curiously. "Who's that?" Megan smiled awkwardly. "That's Daniel. He's my friend." Noah stared at Daniel for a moment. Then he walked over, held out his tiny hand, and said, "Hi." Daniel knelt down. "Hi, buddy." Noah pointed at Daniel's shoes. "Cool shoes." Daniel laughed. "Thanks. Your shoes are pretty cool too." Megan watched them talk for a few minutes. Something about Daniel's patience surprised her. He didn't try to impress Noah. He didn't act like a hero. He simply treated him like a little person whose feelings mattered. The next morning, Megan expected Daniel to disappear. Instead, she received a message. "Hope you and Noah had a good night. No pressure, but I'd like to see you again." Megan stared at the phone. She had heard words like that before. But Daniel's actions were different. Over the next few weeks, he showed up. When Megan had a flat tire, Daniel came to help. When Noah got sick, Daniel dropped off soup and crackers at the door without expecting anything in return. When Megan complained that she felt like she was failing as a mother, Daniel told her something she desperately needed to hear. "You're not failing. You're tired. There's a difference." Megan began to trust him. Slowly. Carefully. One Sunday afternoon, Daniel came over to help Megan assemble a bookshelf. Noah was playing with toy cars on the floor. Daniel accidentally put one piece on backward. Noah giggled. "You did it wrong." Daniel looked at him seriously. "You're right. I need your help." Noah proudly crawled over. Together, they fixed it. Megan stood in the kitchen watching them, and her heart felt strangely full. Then Noah looked up at Daniel. "Daddy, look." The room went silent. Megan froze. Daniel froze too. Noah didn't understand what he had said. He simply smiled and held up the toy car. Daniel slowly knelt beside him. "Hey, buddy," he said gently. "I'm Daniel." Noah nodded. "I know." Megan wiped away a tear. She expected Daniel to run from the moment. Instead, he looked at her. "I don't want to take anyone's place," he said quietly. "But if you let me, I'd like to be someone Noah can always count on." Megan's heart broke open. Not because everything was suddenly perfect, but because, for the first time, she realized kindness could be consistent. Months later, Daniel became part of their everyday life. He never made grand promises. He simply kept showing up. He attended Noah's preschool events. He helped with homework. He learned Noah's favorite bedtime story. And when Noah was scared during a thunderstorm, Daniel sat beside his bed until he fell asleep. Years later, Megan would still remember that first date. The date she only agreed to as a joke. The date she thought would mean nothing. But life had surprised her. Daniel had not walked into her life to rescue her. He had walked into it to stand beside her. And that was the real lesson. Kindness is not always a huge sacrifice. Sometimes it is waiting patiently. Sometimes it is helping without being asked. Sometimes it is saying, "You're not failing. You're just tired." And sometimes, kindness is simply choosing to stay when leaving would be easier. Megan once believed she had to carry everything alone. Daniel showed her that love does not always arrive with flowers, perfect words, or dramatic promises. Sometimes it arrives quietly. Sometimes it sits beside you when you are exhausted. Sometimes it kneels on the floor and plays with your child. And sometimes, without even realizing it, a little child sees what adults are too afraid to believe. That people can still be good. So if you have the chance to be kind today, take it. Smile at someone who looks tired. Help someone who is struggling. Call the person who feels forgotten. Because you may never know how much that small act means. And somewhere, someday, someone may look back and realize that your kindness was the moment they stopped believing they were alone.